I'm going to talk to you about shipping artwork and ways that you can go about doing that. This is also a time for you to send me your questions. This is Q&A time, but before I do, I got a couple of announcements. I got some new galleries to work with, including a gallery in Troy, New York called Two Selves Gallery. Excited to be working with them. I am doing more of my artist coaching sessions these days. So if you're looking for a one-on-one private session with an artist that works with several galleries and that's been in the industry for a long time, I would love to help you with that. If you're not quite ready for a coaching session but would like additional artist support, you can subscribe to my page on Instagram or Facebook for $9.99 a month, and I offer some additional exclusive support and tips there for you. So lots going on. I got some new paintings on the easel. I'm going to be doing some live painting events this coming week. I just got accepted into a gallery association in Santa Fe. I'm working on finalizing things with a new gallery in Palm Springs. So much going on right now, and the art business is booming in a lot of ways. And one of the things that I've had to think about because of what's going on right now and with these new gallery relationships, shipping artwork. And that is a very big obstacle for many artists when they start of their cities. And it's a good thing to do because I have people that follow me in all parts of the country, other countries, and I want to get more of my work physically in front of people because when you can get your work physically in front of people, they can really experience that magic and they can connect with it in a deeper way that makes them more inclined to want to take it home. So it's so important to get work in front of people, but it can be so cost prohibitive with shipping costs, particularly with everything going on in the world today, the cost of everything going up dramatically, and shipping is no exception. Shipping artwork can be extremely expensive. I was sharing a story on Instagram about how when I started working with a gallery in South Florida, I paid my art shipper several $1,000s to try me work significantly cheaper than if we had actually packaged them and shipped them across the country. Plus, it was going to be safer. But I know some of the things that I know from all my years in the industry, from my experience. So I have found ways to work around things or circumnavigate situations to minimize my costs and overhead. Because in many cases, it can feel like being a part of the art world is a rich person's game. And although I am rich in spirit, I am not necessarily rich financially. So I have to find alternatives, cost effective solutions for shipping artwork. And so one of the things that I'm doing recently is using a lot of USPS flat rate boxes. Now, yes, you're limited on what you can ship with those, but I have specifically started doing a lot of pieces that are 11 and a half inches by 11 and a half inches like these up here because I can fit two of those into a flat rate box for 20 bucks and ship them across the country. I'm going to just read some of the questions real quick as they come in. So this is not related whatsoever to talk right now, but somebody asked me about the UFC fight last night. I like Pereira, right? So I don't know enough to have an educated opinion about that. But I do appreciate that question because I am a fan of UFC and of mixed martial arts. But the flat rate boxes are a great option, and you have to start thinking pragmatically about how to operate as an art business because you want to your overhead. If you can have minimal overhead, it makes it so that you don't have to make as much money to survive. Or if you do make more money, it gives you more resources to do things. But as a full-time career artist that only does art, I have found that I have to cut out a lot of the fluff of life. And so I have to think about operating that make financial sense and that is practical. As times have gotten tight for a lot of people, many don't have the budget for art that they once did. It's seen as a luxury, a non-necessity. There are still some people buying art, but they're not buying art in the higher price point ranges that I have seen in past years. And that's not just for me and my art, it's feedback that I heard from several galleries that I work with across the board. And I have noticed that what is moving in the feedback I have gotten from galleries is that what moves is a lot of work right now in the $500 to $1,000 range. And several of my galleries have said anything up to around $2,500, people will usually still buy on impulse without having to give it too much thought. But anything bigger than that, people are wanting to go home and do some research and make more educated decisions because people are being a lot tighter with their money because times are a lot tougher for so many people. So not only can you reduce your shipping costs by working smaller, but you can create works in a price point that is more within reason. Now, I don't have all the answers and I don't know the right thing, so I'm going to just share my experiences with shipping and whatnot, but some of you may have some beneficial, so feel free to send those in. I know sites that you can use or some things that you can sign up for that allow you to print discounted labels that can save you a big chunk on shipping. And I know I have a commerce site, Shopify. My website is Shopify. I need to use some labels through them. And admittedly, I'm guilty of not looking further into that because I use a professional art shipper typically that picks up packages, crates, insures, ships my work, or drives it across the country. Or I use the super basic USPS flat rate box model because I like to just keep things. So it gets being artists have to manage so many different things, and that's why I do like to when I do have the resources to delegate certain things or to use third party sources like an art shipper that can take care of everything for me so I can focus on doing things like the social media or the marketing or making the art because so often we don't really get to focus on making the art because we're having to manage all these other aspects of the business, and there's so much to it making it as a full-time career professional artist. A lot of people think that my day is spent glamorously painting and being a recluse, and although I am a bit of a recluse, most of my days are not spent painting. I have more days that I don't paint than days that I do. So again, success is such a weird thing in the arts. It's not monetary. I mean, different things you do. So don't ever judge yourself by someone else's. If you're doing what you love, then by all means, I would say congratulations and you are succeeding. But I want to give some insights and some tips and tools to help you on this journey. And so, some of the other things you can do with shipping, if you don't want to use an art shipper, which can be costly, is you can oftentimes, if you work on a good quality canvas, you want to make sure that it's a double weave canvas, a heavy canvas. A lot of the store bought grade, and those can be really difficult for restretching. They can deteriorate very fast. But if you do work on a high grade canvas, in theory, you can unstretch it, you can roll it, you can tube it, you can ship it where it needs to, and it can be stretched again at the destination. Now, you deal with different obstacles there because you got to unstretch it, then you got to tube it, then you got to send it. You probably got to give them some guidance on how to restretch it there or who they might be able to go to. And then there's going to be some costs there too. So sometimes you think that you're going to save money by breaking it down to all these other steps, and sometimes you actually don't. So these are things you may not know about until you get a little more experience and get to test. And what your resources are may be different from mine because of where you're located and who is in search these things and see what your options are. And that's why I love the USPS option because it's just United States Postal Service. It is what it is. And I can keep those boxes in my studio. I can do the smaller pieces that I can fit a couple and boom, no matter where it goes in this country, it's only going to be $20. So I don't have to worry about beyond that. Now, another thing that you're going to have to deal with if you start shipping a lot or if you start shipping internationally is duties and tariffs. And a lot of artists don't know about this until they do. And sometimes the reason that they find out is because of a really bad situation. And what I mean by that is that many of us don't know that when you ship work to another country, customers, but then they get hit with duties, taxes, tariffs, customs fees, and those fees can be extremely high and it varies country to country and they change all the time and they're changing right now because of all the chaos going on in the world. And I don't know what the current rate is, but the last time that I checked, Canada, it was 40%, which means that if I was to ship a painting to Canada for $1,000, and I declared the value at $1,000. The collector would get hit on the back end with a bill for $400. So if you had never done this before and you had just shipped something to Canada and said, "Oh, it's $1,000, done deal, it got there," then they get hit with that bill, and you get this angry message of, "Why am I getting hit with $400?" So it's something really good to know, and it's not just Canada. Duties and tariffs to every country, but just varies what it is to each individual country. So it's always changing, and I don't have the exact rates for all the countries. In fact, I don't even know where to get. I could probably look that up somewhere, but I don't know off the top of my head. But I just know the general rule is to double check with my shipper and to make sure that I'm aware of it, because what I will often do is I will add all of my into the cost of the artwork, not a big chunk of it, to account for these things, because on service people are used to free shipping. Tell somebody that something's $250, but you tell them there's $10 shipping, and then they don't want to buy it. But you could have told them it was $300 and free shipping, and they still probably would have bought it. So there's this psychology to shipping and to sales and to numbers. And so, if at all possible, try to build your shipping costs, or at least the vast majority of it, into your art costs. And that's something that I do. And on some jobs, I just make a little more money or I lose a little more money, but it is what it is. And I've shipped enough to every state in the United States to have an idea of what it costs to go across the country. So a lot of times I will factor in what I estimate it to cost to create it, ship it to New York, the other side of the country, and use that as just my general pricing guide. And from there, on some I'll make a little more, some I'll make a little bit less. On international ones, I'll say, well, hey, I'll cover this much of the shipping, or I'll cover the shipping, but I will make sure that I let them know that I don't cover duties and taxes. And I will let them know that I'm not even aware of exactly what that is, because I don't want to move into a realm of something that is not my area of expertise. And I'm just an artist that makes the artwork. So I don't want to get overly involved in that thing. Now, one thing that you can do, and again, I'm not incriminating myself here. I'm just throwing things out there. So this is not me ever saying that I have done this, but you can, on international shipments, declare things as a gift. Like if you're sending it to a family member, or a friend, and it's a gift. And in that case, you can declare it, I think, at like $0. I think you have to declare it at something, but you can declare it at like $1. But when you do that, then the insurance is not covered. And if it was technically a business transaction, I'm not sure if it would technically fall under insurance fraud, or just not getting the insurance. So I feel like it's just you assuming the risk, but it might be mail fraud. And so, I don't know. Somebody pointed that out to me, and I'm like, oh, that would make sense that that could actually be. But hey, I mean, we're artists. Technically, the value is in the eye of the beholder. So hey, what are you gonna do? We got to survive as artists, and times are tough. So I'm not going to criticize anybody for doing what they got to do to survive or to make it as an artist. But if we do have any questions, this is a wonderful time for you to ask questions. If not, I will pop off and go get some work done. But I would love for you to join me on my other platforms. You can find all of them on my link tree. You could also check out all my videos. I have a ton of artist support videos for you. You can sign up for one of my coaching sessions at cariniarts.com, or you can subscribe to my page on Instagram or Facebook for $9.99 a month, and I will provide additional artist support content there that is exclusive for subscribers. And it also allows you to message me and send me a question or two a month, and I'll send you a little voice reply. Someone said if you have a lot of inventory, then you have to be careful when shipping multiple art pieces. Absolutely. And as you start to ship multiple pieces too, you want to make sure that you're packaging them very well. And that's why I do prefer to go with my art brew, because he handles that type of stuff. But yeah, anytime you're sitting on a lot of inventory, it's so easy for things to just get damaged or mishandled, or to lose sight of things. And I was just saying on my Instagram feed that it's actually a good situation to be in, where there's a demand for your work that you don't have enough inventory, as opposed to where I am right now, which is having a ton of inventory that I'm trying to find homes for. But that's also why I am starting to find other galleries, is because I'm looking for more sales channels so I can get the work out of the studio and on my wall, off my walls, and in front of people. So that's the plan right now for me moving forward. And my big adjustment with the art world is getting it into spaces where it can be seen so that more people can have experiences and in other parts of the country as opposed to just sitting in my studio in San Diego collecting dust. So got to find solutions for getting work across the country, and that's what I'm doing, finding ways to get it across the country. And that may just mean me using some flat rate boxes, and it may mean me adapting to work on some smaller sizes that are in price points and ranges that people are more inclined to buy right now during these difficult economical times. So just something to consider. You can always share your thoughts, leave your comments, add to the conversation, but I would love to hear what you think about it, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.